Our first masala is a simple one. We'll be using whole form ingredients, starting with half a cup of coriander seeds. These are homegrown. Followed by a quarter cup of cumin seeds. Then an eighth of a cup of whole black peppercorns. And finally, a few dried red chilies, depending on your personal spice tolerance or preference, and chili type. I have 4 large, very spicy dried cayenne peppers, so I'd recommend sticking with them for their balanced heat flavor. It's really nice here. After we've gathered all of our ingredients, we're going to mix and roast them for a few minutes on medium-low heat. Stir every 20 to 30 seconds. If you start smelling burning, that means that your heat is too hot, or you're not stirring enough. As soon as you smell the pleasant aroma, go ahead and remove it from the heat to rest a few minutes before grinding. While my mom's loading the grinder here, I want to mention that the reason for roasting is not only to activate the flavors, but also to make grinding easier. As for the grinder we're using, it's a $10 coffee grinder. It's got 3 settings. You can grind to whatever consistency you prefer. We're doing a fine grind for versatility. This way we can add it to dishes, marinations, sauces, and injections for meat as well. And there you have it. A simple masala that you can think of as an all-purpose seasoning for Indian cuisine, given the prevalence of cumin and coriander in our dishes. Now it's time to make a seasoning that's much more popular and complex. Garam masala. This one has a wide variety of ingredients, including 1 cup of coriander seeds, half a cup of cumin seeds, a quarter cup of whole black peppercorns, a tablespoon of fenugreek/methi seeds, a tablespoon of fennel seeds, a teaspoon of black mustard seeds, a teaspoon of garam seeds, 3 black cardamom pods, 6 whole cloves, 4 green cardamom pods, 4 to 6 bay leaves, depending on the size of what you're able to find. Looks like I've got 5. 1 cinnamon stick for me, 4 to 6 dried red chilies, same application of the simple masala, 3 star anise pods, and that's it. The key thing to this recipe is starting with the ingredients in their whole form. Yes, you can find powdered forms or extracts of any of these items, but I recommend staying away from them if at all possible to avoid potency issues. With powders or end product forms of any of these ingredients on store shelves, there's variables that could lead to a garam masala that isn't as rich or balanced. Looking at cumin as an example, these seeds smell great and they aren't at all offensive. This powder smells like armpits. That's fine to add to dishes as you're cooking, but in a large quantity like we're doing in this garam masala, it would be very overwhelming. There's also consistency issues. For instance, if you go in a grocery store for cinnamon powder, you'll find a dozen brands, each likely to have their own distinct flavor. Cinnamon sticks, though, will generally all taste the same. That leads me to the next thing I want to point out, my cinnamon use. I stick to using 1 cinnamon stick between 1 and 2 inches depending on the thickness, because I don't really like cinnamon. I prefer cloves. And these little things are one of the biggest secrets in Indian cuisine, and they're hidden in plain sight thanks to their overlapping flavor characteristics with cinnamon and nutmeg. The last thing to point out is the ratio of the fennel, star anise, and black cardamom. You might think they're little, but they're very similar in taste, so combining these 3 gives us one great earthy flavor. And combining them all gives us garam masala. We'll be roasting these ingredients just as we did with the simple masala, but the process is going to be a bit different. We're going to start with the coriander seeds, the cinnamon, the black cardamom, our star anise, bay leaves, and fenugreek seeds, so they can roast for about a minute longer than everything else. Then the cumin goes in for about 30 seconds. the black peppercorn, again for about 30 seconds. Next up will be the fennel seeds. Followed by the black mustard seeds. Then our red chilies, cloves, and green cardamom. And lastly, we're going to add our garam seeds about 30 seconds before removing. You can expect the roasting process for the garam masala to take anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes on medium-low heat. Make sure you're stirring every 15 seconds, and again, if you're smelling burning and it's making you cough, that means you're either not stirring enough or your heat is too high. So keep that in mind. We're going for a pleasant aroma here. Once that's all done and you're smelling everything pleasantly, you can turn off your burner and let it rest for a few minutes before grinding, just as we did with the simple masala. After that's all said and done, you'll have garam masala that you can use to make authentic Indian dishes to your heart's content. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you'll use these recipes. If you do, let me know how you're using them.